Welcome to Start a New You, Session 3. We're excited that you're here. We're going to begin with a little clip from Loma Linda University on water. There we
Think about how much water you drink in a typical day.
Would you drink more water if you knew it would reduce your risk of heart disease by half?
About 40% of people in this country die of cardiovascular disease. So it is a serious disease that develops over many years. And the good news is it is preventable.
Heart disease is caused when any blockage in your arteries keeps the heart from receiving enough blood.
The buildup of plaque can result from risk factors like smoking, high cholesterol, and high blood pressure.
This Loma Linda University health study followed 34,000 Californians over 15 years.
Both men and women who drank 5 or more glasses of water per day have about half the risk of dying of coronary heart disease.
And that's the simple tip for the day.
Drink at least 5 glasses of water every day to lower your risk for heart disease.
You can spice it up with some lemon, lime, orange slices.
Herbal teas without sugar have also shown a similar effect on lowering your risk of heart disease.
But remember, drinks like juice and soda are high in sugar and won't give us the benefit of lowering your risk of heart disease.
There's your simple tip for the day on how you can live healthier, longer.
All right. Okay, but so are you drinking water?
I am. I'm a big water drinker, but why does it affect your body that way?
To improve your heart?
Yeah.
What do you say? What's the question?
It was talking about how people who drank five or more glasses reduces their risk for heart issues and things like that. But what does it drinking the water do to your body to cut down that risk?
So it keeps your blood flowing nicely. When we're dehydrated, our blood tends to be a little bit more thick. And so the thicker the blood is, the harder it is to go through the vessels. So when we're hydrated, then it has enough fluid.
I have already learned something new in the first 5 minutes of this class. I did not know that.
Perfect. Yeah.
Awesome.
Water has a lot of benefits, and we're going to be discussing part of it today.
As a tomboy, I knew all about that.
Yes, you definitely need to have your water when you're working outside. All right, so how has it gone for you this week? We'd like to hear from you if you care to share. Most of us should be done with our Kickstart Cleanse, and also tell us about your exercise or whatever you'd like to share with us. If anyone cares to share.
Well, my mother, I went home this past weekend, and my mother, I got her to go. That's how I got those 2 days in with my mother.
Okay, for exercise.
Which was good for her. She's 75, and of course, she's had some issues the last few months or so. And so we walked around the block twice, and she has a big block, so that was a little over 25 minutes, actually. So
perfect.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Not fast, but we got her to walk. That was good.
Walking 2 miles in the morning gets me tired, and I'm tired because I operate my sawmill, and so I quit walking 2 miles in the morning. I'll walk 1 mile, and I don't know. I suppose I walk a couple or 3 miles on the sawmill.
Okay.
And then I still have a mile to walk.
So you get it in the evening?
In the afternoon or evening, whenever.
Perfect.
But that sawmill walks you twice as much.
Yeah. But we need to get the heart rate up. And I'm not sure how much it'd be getting the heart rate up. You'd have to test it to be able to know.
Yeah. I don't know. It can give you a quick surprise every now and then.
Yeah, I bet.
If it kicks something off or if a blade breaks.
Yeah, you got to be real careful, I'm sure.
I've had blades break and they go,
You don't want that. Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, when I was sanding this, I found out how quick it goes through a fingernail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Just found right through it, and it bled.
Yeah, I bet. So, how did you guys do with the cleanse?
I don't have any problem with that.
Okay, good.
It's not bad. It's really
Okay.
not, other than the gas station.
I gained 5 pounds.
Okay.
I did too.
How did you take 5 pounds?
Beat me.
It is
We're
not
going
possible.
to figure it out today. Hopefully, we can figure that out. All right. Do you care to share anything?
Well, I've had more energy and felt more in the moment with the different foods. And I'm remembering a little more to just chew my food, and that seems to fill me up faster.
Perfect. Very nice. Very nice.
One of our online participants says there is an excellent book called My Body Cries for Water, which she recommends.
Very good. And thank you for sharing. All right. So she shared.
Yeah.
Okay, great. We'll go
You
ahead.
remember when I said I thought you had been by my place? The box that was left in my mailbox had the DANA.
Isn't that interesting? It wasn't me.
No,
I don't
I-
even
I-
know where you live.
I know who left it now.
Oh, okay.
I got to dig through it, and it had a name in it also.
Good. All right. Well, we're going to start what I call our little In the News segment. And several of you have asked me about turmeric. And so I wanted to kind of address turmeric. Typically is what we do before we start adding herbal supplements and things like this. We like to know, what is your baseline? What is your body capable of in your current condition? Turmeric is an excellent anti-inflammatory, antifungal, antibacterial, antiviral herb. It comes from a root that's ground up into a powder, and you can take it straight as a powder. You take 1 tablespoon 3 times a day. It's going to help with the inflammation. It's been shown to be beneficial with blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, anything that has an inflammatory element. It has been shown to be beneficial. My husband actually takes it as a treatment for his Lyme's disease. So if it's something that you want to take now, you can. You can get it in capsule form. You don't have to take it in powder. You can get it in capsule. And it's the curcumin that is in the turmeric that is the what it has the healing property. Curcumin.
How do you spell that?
C-U-R. I should write it. Curcumin. C-U-M-I-N. Did I spell that right? Go ahead.
We did have an online participant say that she had a fabulous outcome to her,
Good.
and she lowered her blood sugars by 100 points, so it improved significantly.
Wow.
Good job.
100.
Yes, that's
100
awesome.
points.
Yeah. You know, the power of the cleanse is revealed in our numbers. Okay. And it's really quite amazing to see the vast difference from what we're typically eating, and then you do the cleanse, which you still get to eat real food. It's just in a very simple fashion, you know. So very interesting. So I wanted to just address the curcumin. If you have questions on that, we can discuss it more. But if you'd like to take that supplement, that's fine with us. We actually even sell it in our store.
Is it as beneficial taking it in the tablet form as it is using it as a spice?
As a spice, you're going to use a very small amount. 1/8 of a teaspoon is going to nicely turn everything yellow.
Yes.
Okay, so you're not going to use a real lot in your cooking. So you're not going to get the anti-inflammatory response that you're looking for to the level that you might be looking for.
Okay.
Just using it as spice. Use it freely, but you're looking at, if you're taking the actual powder, you're looking at needing at least a tablespoon a day to get the benefits that you're wanting.
Okay.
Okay, and you can do as much as 3 tablespoons a day. And therefore we have it in big bags, like a pound size bag. Or it might be 2 pounds, I'm not sure. All right, so here's some other news. It says berry eaters may be at lower risk for diabetes.
Any berries?
Eating berries.
Any kind.
Yes, strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, goji berries. Did I say raspberries? Okay, raspberries. Yes, all the berries. They're wonderful for our health. They're very high in fiber. And so, of course, they're going to help with heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, even cancer. So eat your berries every morning that you can afford to do so. All right. Here's another article. It's talking about fiber. So in today's world, it's harder than ever to keep weight under control, as is evidenced by the fact that 2/3 of American adults and 1/3 of children and teens are either overweight or obese. So 1/3 of our society is indeed obese or overweight. It is important to understand that while exercise is certainly part of the formula for success, the food choices you choose to eat are 3 times more important for controlling weight and disease than your exercise. But don't miss the point. Exercise is still important. All right? It's very easy to sabotage yourself with processed foods and sweetened beverages. Many also do not get enough fiber, which research suggests is another key component for effective weight loss. Upping your fiber intake has an appetite suppressant quality. It helps you feel more satisfied. And it helps prevent unhealthy snacking. Also improves metabolic markers such as your blood pressure, cholesterol levels, blood sugar levels. Fiber helps protect your heart and cardiovascular health and appears to reduce mortality of all causes. He goes on to say, keep in mind that all sources of fiber are not created equal. We're going to come back to that, so make a mental note of it. Hang it on a hook in your brain. Fresh, whole fruits and vegetables are among the best sources of fiber. He actually recommends, now take notice to this. This is a large amount of fiber he's recommending. And this is Mercola.com, Dr. Mercola. 50 grams of fiber per 1,000 calories consumed. It's a lot. We don't actually recommend that much. That much is not going to hurt you, but you definitely would be on a whole foods plant-based diet to get in 100 grams of fiber if you were on a 2,000 calorie diet, that is. All right. So among the best of his recommendations for high fiber vegetables are broccoli, Brussels sprout, and cauliflower.
Sawdust doesn't count.
Eating sawdust doesn't count. It needs to have more than just fiber. We're going to get into that a little bit as well.
Once in a while I get a little bit of that in woodworking, whether I want it or not.
Yeah, exactly. All right, you might be familiar with this. This is Diabetes Forecast. I got this in the mail just yesterday. So I read through it and got a few highlights out of it for our meeting today. It says, it's Discovery News and Research is what I'm reading from. After 6 months, those in a group like ours, where eating fruits and vegetables is recommended, found that after 6 months, they were eating less red meat, less salt, and fewer overall calories, and of course, more fruits and vegetables. Interesting note about home cooking. Of course, you probably already know this. Eating out less often may trim your waistline and lower your risk for type 2 diabetes. All right, so eating at home more often, if we turn that around, is going to help weight loss and diabetes. Okay. All right. Nearly 1 in 5 American tweens and teens have either diabetes or prediabetes.
Wow.
How many?
Wow.
1 in 5. That's 20%.
Wow.
20% of
Lower
our
than-
teens and tweens.
It's lower than I thought.
It's lower?
Yeah. I thought it was more like about 30%.
Yeah. 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. So, yeah, it's 1 in 5 according to the latest research in Diabetes Forecast, and this is November's 2016 edition.
And this is all from just eating prepackaged foods, fast food stuff, and
And leading a sedentary lifestyle, and as the
Good
next
old
little
McDonald's.
in
computer
McDonald's,
stuff,
yeah. So the next little blurb is turn off the TV. Those who have consistently watched more than 14 hours per week of TV, that's 2 hours a day, for most of their life, have much lower bone densities than did those who watched less.
Bone density.
Bone
Wow.
density. Yes. So if you want to increase your bone density, eat beets. We'll show you one of those blurbs. I have a blurb on that. We'll show that to you sometime. All right, here's a,
Sugar beets count?
for what?
For beets. Sugar beets are delicious.
Beans.
Oh, beans. I thought you
Beans.
said
Okay.
beets.
Yeah,
I did
sorry.
too.
Beans. Let me get my pronunciation correct.
I'm
All
glad I called you on that.
I'm glad you did too. Yes. Beets are good for iron, but yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know about building bone. I'm sure
Right,
it's going
that's-
to some
that's
extent.
what
But
didn't make sense to
yeah,
me. Yeah.
thanks. All right. What about memory and diabetes? The higher your hemoglobin A1C, the poorer your memory. And it gets to a steeper drop in memory over a 6-year period of which the study covered. You want to improve your overall emotional well-being? Volunteer. Volunteer to help out a person, group, or organization. This will help you feel happier and well-adjusted. Interesting, huh?
I like that.
The Bible tells us that he who gives water to another will himself be watered.
Have you seen the Adventist History movie? It's been
I don't
produced
think
in
so.
Canada. It's been on television. It's a feature-length movie. Well, it's 2 hours long. And it's done by professionals. It's quite accurate.
Okay.
It's not glamorized. Only Ellen White is a very lovely young lady, much prettier than Ellen White was. But other than that, I find nothing wrong with it at all.
Okay. Good. Good. All right. So drink up. Again, we're looking at water. Here's a good reason to drink water. Being dehydrated can increase your odds for obesity. The odds of being obese were 59% higher for inadequate hydrated participants versus the well-hydrated participants. What should you drink in a day? According to this little blurb from the Annals of Family Medicine, July and August 2016, it says men should have at least 3.7 liters of water, and women 2.7 liters of water, and our
How much?
bottles of water here is a half a liter.
This is a half a liter.
Mhm.
This is 20 ounces.
Yeah, so this is a half a liter, our little Sam water bottles.
So I go through about 4 of these a day or 5.
Okay,
4 to 6 of these a day is easy.
How
okay.
much is
So
a
you
gallon?
guys are getting the water that you need. Here was a very interesting article. I'm sorry.
How much is a gallon of water?
How many liters?
Uh-huh.
How about quarts? It'd be 4 liters or 4 quarts.
Okay.
Is that right?
No, on the
Yeah,
gallon.
Mom asked me today, is
Yeah.
a liter
Or-
more than a gallon? I
No.
know a liter is less, but how much is a gallon? Thanks.
Yeah, about 4 liters, give or take a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this is article, it says Early Does It, and the doctor is Ralph Franzo, and he's redefining diabetes. Okay? He says, the development of type 2 diabetes is a gradual process that occurs over years. People with prediabetes have diabetes. They just don't meet the cutoff point set by the ADA yet. That would be American Diabetes Association. An estimated 86 million Americans have prediabetes, according to the CDC, or Center for Disease Control. And he's wanting to just call prediabetes diabetes. Now, that is one opinion, but why would he want to do that? It's because that when you're diagnosed with diabetes, the cutoff is a fasting blood sugar of 126 or 2 random blood sugars of 200. All right? It's at those levels that we start seeing microvascular changes or damage. Okay? So he's actually saying they still have diabetes. They just aren't seeing the complications yet. Okay? And whether you feel the complications or not, once your sugar is over 126 fasting or random sugars of 200, you are actually damaging the vessels, the small vessels in your system. So he's trying to get it reevaluated. So just kind of a heads up, probably nothing happens quickly in medical society. So, but yeah, he's trying to push things in that direction. All right. So we're going to be looking at doing some exercise now. If you haven't already turned in your exercise reports, you can turn that in, and we'll get it calculated and give you a report. You can just type it in, what was your total exercise for the week, and we can include it. Now, last week, I forgot to hand out buttons. We have already sent them to our online participants. But these are the buttons that I gave you when you came in. You can wear these each time you come. And if you met the weekly goal, then we will give you one for this week. Now, we're going to give you a little grace the first week. If you didn't meet the goal, that's fine. It takes a while to get into a habit. This week, if you didn't meet the goal for every day, we're still going to give you a little bit of grace, okay? You at least need to try to be increasing from where you were last week, all right? So with that in mind, how many of you met the goal this week?
Every day.
Did you do more this week than you did last week?
No, same.
Same? Okay. We're going to hold the pin until next week. You got a pin coming next week. And we're going to put a dot on the pin. We're supposed to be a star, and I'm sorry I didn't get the stars. There'll be stars next week. We're going to give you a dot if you met the goal. You said yes, right? So you'll get a dot this week. And you met the goal last week too, Paul, right?
Yeah, very easily.
Yes. So we'll make sure both of you have a sticker for your button. And if online participants can again tell us if you met the goal, and if you did, please proudly wear your pin so that we can see that. That'd be nice.
Okay.
All right?
Ask online participants to open up their chat box.
Oh, could our online participants please open up their chat box so that we can communicate with you? Okay. We are now going to do our coconut stretch. Can you guys see my screen? Okay.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, good. Let's go ahead and stand up. Let's do our coconut stretch. Oops. I just messed that up. All right.
You go where you
Are we able to do it? All right. You ready? Okay. C, O, C, O, N, U, T. Arms forward. Arms backwards. And squat down. 2, good job. 3, 4, 5. One more. 6. One more than last week. Very good. Very good. Let's do it again. C, O, C, O, N, U, T. Arms forward. Arms backwards. And squats. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Good job. Give yourself a hand and come back to the table. Remember to drink a little water.
I got my heart rate up.
Yeah. There we go. You can do those every single day. It's a good wake up. Wake up exercise. Got to climb the tree to get the coconuts. Well, maybe not exactly. All right, we're going to do a little review. What did we talk about last week? Digestion. That's right. And I think hopefully we all learned something new.
Yeah, a whole lot.
All right, see if you can finish this sentence. We are only as healthy as our gut is healthy.
Mm-hmm. Yay.
Very good. All right, and you have these on your notes from last week. Where does digestion begin? Okay, in the mouth. Yes, the tongue is important. It has the taste buds on it. Yes, and then the chewing.
We don't begin by smelling it?
Well, it certainly can start the salivary glands, doesn't it?
Just thinking about it.
This is true. This is true. Pablo's dog. Remember that in school? Okay, so we're not dogs, we're humans, but still. All right, what are some of the benefits of chewing?
It's pleasurable. You get to taste your food.
Okay, better enjoyment of the food, better taste, better digestion, correct? All right. Any others that you can think of?
Enjoy it more.
Better enjoyment. Okay.
More absorption of the nutrition.
Better
absorption, yeah.
It can help fill you up faster. Very good. Is that what you said? Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So how can chewing longer help you lose weight?
Well, it reduces your desire to eat more. Your body starts to signal itself saying, hey, you don't need so much.
Okay. Good.
Good.
All right. All right. So one, it fills you up more. Like you said, you can reduce the amount of calories because your brain is telling you it takes longer to eat, and so your brain is telling you, yeah, you can quit now. Okay. Good. What does snacking do to the digestion process?
Upsets it.
That's a good way of putting it, or confuses it. Upsets or confuses. Very good. All right, so it actually interrupts, right? All right, and so then it has to get to a restarting point when all the food is together, and then digestion can continue on. Okay.
It messes up your whole system.
Indeed, it does.
Not just your digestive, but your mental, your physical. Everything. That's
right.
Right.
It does, from all the what it puts off. Mm-hmm. The chemicals. All right. So for every vitamin mineral, what is necessary? Every vitamin mineral is dependent upon what for proper digestion and assimilation?
Chart.
That's right. And what did that chart have on it? It had lines from one vitamin to another to another. That's exactly right. So every vitamin and mineral is dependent upon another vitamin or mineral for proper digestion and assimilation. So just taking supplements is not the best way to get in your calcium or your vitamin Bs or things like this, okay? Getting it from the whole foods is the best way. Now, we're also going to do an email review. However, seeing that none of you received my emails this week, of which I sincerely apologize.
I swear, you didn't.
Yeah.
No, I didn't either.
I was communicating with our online participant, and she wrote back, she says, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, well, it's in the emails. What emails? So then everything I send out, I also send to Laura so that we have a record of it. And so I asked her, did you receive any emails? She did not receive any emails. So I resent them all, every single one of them, and they still didn't go. So then we decided to use a different platform. I was using Outlook. I used a different platform, which was Yahoo, and they went. So you should, if you haven't received them still? Did you receive them, online participants?
I hadn't as of this morning.
Yeah, it was about between 11 and 12,
yes,
and you should have received
today.
about 7 emails from me. Because
there's only 2. There's only 2 emails.
This is very discouraging.
This is...
This is what I need you to do. You should be receiving an email from me every single day, okay? If you do not receive an email from me, you need to be emailing me. They typically go out between 11 and 12, okay? So I want to know how you're doing. I don't want you just out there floundering around, wondering, what am I supposed to be doing? They're very helpful, and they're going to cover material that we don't have time to cover in class, okay? So be reading your emails every day, be looking for them so that I know that you're actually getting them or not getting them, okay? I might just have to start sending personal emails. I'm sending them in a group. None of your email are listed. I send them blind copy, but I'm sending them in a group, and maybe that's the problem. I don't know. So, all right. So, because I know that you didn't go through the emails because you didn't receive the emails, we will work on that some more and see if we can't get it accomplished. All right?
One came through.
I'm just going to briefly go over 2 of the emails that are very pertinent to today's presentation. All right? And one is called Superfoods to the Rescue. Okay? We can call it Kickstart Foods to the Rescue. All right. You remember Clark Kent? Who is he? Superman. He's Superman, all right? Very mild-mannered, unassuming reporter, right? Who worked on the Daily Planet. Well, Lois Lane looked at him as any other co-worker, right? And she didn't know what we know, that underneath that ordinary exterior, he was Superman. So this is like our fruits and vegetables, beans, and whole grains. We look at them as ordinary common foods, right? They don't look like much to us, but underneath they are ordinary. Underneath their ordinary exterior, they are superfoods. They come to our rescue in 2 ways. First, they help us with our health, to improve our health. They also help us fight disease. Okay? So these foods are superfoods for abundant health because they contain at least 60% water along with the fiber. And fiber and water both do not contain any calories. So the more water and fiber foods you eat, the fewer calories you'll end up consuming. And this makes them naturally low-calorie foods that you can fill your plate with, and you don't have to have skimpy portions. All right? No skimpy portions with the Start a New You program. We want you to be able to fill your plate, eat well, and enjoy it. All right? So the water and fiber, that is what fills your stomach. And so you feel full and you stay full longer. So key number 1 is to start eating these first. Okay? So we don't want any hunger. We don't want any deprivation, okay, or feelings of being deprived. All right? So you eat these first before you eat the other foods. All right? So superfoods might not help you leap tall buildings in a single bound, but you definitely will be lighter on your feet. How's that? All right. So they are loaded with vitamins and minerals, antioxidants, phytochemicals, and, of course, water and fiber. And these are what's going to improve your health and help prevent or reverse disease. All right. Now, as we have already said, water is very important, especially when you're trying to increase fiber in your diet because fiber loves water. So you need to make sure you're at least getting 6 cups of water a day. That's a good start. Better would be 8, and 10 would be even better, okay? And that is if you're exercising, okay? 10 with exercise. All right. Now, we're going to talk about fiber quite a bit today. Once man starts fiddling with our food, we can know that it's not going to be the best for us anymore. So once we have refined grains, they lack the fiber, a large percentage of the fiber. And so a lot of these are not going to be our weight loss and disease reversal friends. Okay? All right, so there is an activity for you to do in that email when you actually get to receive that email, which I hope will be very soon, like within the next 24 hours, okay? So the other thing that I sent out was, what do I eat now? Now that we have finished the cleanse, what do I get to start eating? That's a good question, right? Have you guys been asking that? All right, so this is what we're going to answer today. So here's just a few facts. Throughout our lives, 10 to 20 tons of food will pass through our mouths.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So part of that will remain in our system and make up our bone and our blood and our brains and our cells and our tissues. And basically we are then in reality what we eat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So eating is an inescapable act if we desire to live. However, seeing we are in reality what we eat, we must choose the foods we allow to enter our mouth in the most intelligent way possible. In 1980, the local grocery store carried 15,000 food products. Today, the number of food products available is over 50,000 prepackaged, ready-to-eat foods. On the average, 20,000 new packaged foods are introduced each year in the United States.
Wow.
That's high.
Wow.
It's huge, isn't it?
Amazing.
Amazing.
Wow.
All right. So there are so many ready-made packaged products, we must be very smart and intelligent with what we choose to eat to fuel our body. What will give us the best nutrition to sustain a healthy, happy, full of energy life? All right. So we're going to go through a little quiz here. We can call it quiz. It's going to be a review. And now that you have some information, you can answer some of the questions. How much food passes through our mouth in our lifetime?
20 tons.
10 to
That's
20
amazing.
tons. Correct. 3 and 4 would be the correct answer. Finish the sentence. In reality, we are what? What we eat. It's very true. There's a very cute little cartoon. I actually should have put it in the PowerPoint this time. I think it's a bunny and a dog. And the bunny is telling the dog as he's chomping down into a hamburger, and he says, remember, you are what you eat. And the dog says, I need to eat a skinny person. Okay, a little dry. I'll show it to you sometime. All right. In 1980, how many food products were available in the local grocery store?
15,000.
Correct, 15,000. True or false, the number of food products available today in a typical local grocery store is 50,000 prepackaged, ready-to-eat foods.
True.
True.
Wow.
Okay, which of the following categories contain fiber?
First 3.
Okay, verse 3. That is correct. Fruits, vegetables, whole grain. I'm here to tell you there is not any digestible fiber or any fiber at all in meat, including fish, poultry, beef, game, lamb, goat, whatever you'd like. There isn't any fiber. There's not any in dairy, eggs, and of course there's not any in water.
Nuts are up there.
Nuts do contain, because I didn't fit on the page.
Okay.
It's not an all-inclusive. I don't have beans up there either, or legumes.
Legumes. Oh, no.
They're the king. They're the king of fiber. All right. So just so you know, our goal for Start a New You class is to improve our health habits. Until we do the improving of our health habits, we can't reverse disease. So it's in our next class, Abundant Health Now, with our health habits in place, that then we can focus on actually reversing disease. But we're setting up that process, and it takes time to set up that process. And so that's why we're starting a new you, and that's why we call it that, because we're starting, okay? When we get to the Abundant Health Now, we are actually working. And you'll see disease, as you've already seen, with your blood pressure levels coming down, or blood sugar levels coming down, or your weight, in most cases, coming down. All right. Then you're going to see some improvements in that. But it's going to take longer than 8 weeks to actually reverse disease. And the research shows actually 16 weeks, and that's why we have an 8-week program for Starting a You, and then an 8-week program for Abundant Health Now. Okay? So we want to find out what can we eat now. We're going to talk about the power of fiber. Maybe your grandma told you to eat your vegetables. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, she was right. She was right. All right, so fruits, vegetables, beans, and the other legumes, whole grains, nuts, and seeds all contain fiber. Anything that grows off a tree, off a plant, contains fiber if it's maintained in its natural state, okay, with all of its, in its completeness, all right? With the exception of nuts and seeds, all these foods, the fruits, vegetables, beans, and other legumes, and whole grains, all tend to be low-calorie foods. Okay? So they're great for diabetes, for heart disease, for high blood pressure, for fatigue, if you're wanting more energy, because the body knows exactly what to do with them. They're high fiber, high water, and so you actually can get some of your necessary hydration from these foods as well. So these foods will help us feel full because they slow down digestion and do not leave the stomach until about 4 hours, as we saw in our digestion presentation last week. And they're packed with everything you need for healing and disease reversal, including your vitamins and your minerals, your phytochemicals, antioxidants, progoitrins, things like this. So they're powerful to heal heart disease, cancer, diabetes, these things. All right, and these are our Kickstart foods. This is what we just had 10 days of eating, for all these foods that are going to help us kickstart into a new us, right? So how can we increase these foods in our diet? Let's find out. From the Annals of Internal Medicine, this is a quote from them: eating 30 to 40 grams of fiber each day can help you lose weight, lower blood pressure, and improve your body's response to insulin just as effectively as a more complicated diet. Now, if you've had diabetes for a long time, then you've probably heard about the exchange system. You've heard about carbohydrate counting. I teach carbohydrate counting. But this program will make things so much easier than even carbohydrate counting or the 50-50 plate method, which I also utilize. Both of those I find are much easier than the exchange method. If you had high blood pressure, you've probably heard of counting your milligrams of sodium or salt and things like this. Eating more fiber, eating more fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, you're naturally going to have less sodium and a higher level of potassium ratio. And it's potassium levels, the magnesium levels, that are going to help bring down the blood pressure. It's very interesting how God has packaged our food to be just right. And it's not until we mess with it that we get all messed up ourselves.
Yeah.
All right. So in addition to weight control, higher fiber diets can also help to prevent type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease. But it is best to get fiber from where? From food, not from what? Supplements. All right. So you guys have seen the fiber supplements where you mix into juice or something like that. Metamucil is one of them. All right. While this does have some benefit, you will get so much more benefit if you actually have that fiber in the food. Okay. So the Metamucil definitely would help keep you regular, and that's what it's made and created for, is for anti-constipation. You can have that same natural effect by just increasing your fruits and vegetables. If you do have problems with constipation, I can give you more recommendations.
I haven't had any trouble with this thing we've been on.
No, there are definitely foods that do constipate, even in the vegetable categories and grain category. But for the most part, if that's a problem for you, then we can talk about those specifically. I'll just give you a heads up on one, and that is greens. Wonderful, wonderful foods. In fact, you really should try to get greens into your diet every single day, whether it be kale or broccoli or spinach or collards or whatever green is your preference. Having a serving of greens every day is going to really cover those vitamin and mineral, the ones that are necessary. So a serving of greens. However, for many people, they do tend to constipate. It's because of the high iron content in them. So the way to deal with that is either to eat a smaller amount or make sure that the rest of your diet has plenty of fiber that's going to help push that through, and plenty, particularly of fruit, which is a higher water content food, which is going to help push everything along as well, and drink plenty of water. Okay, so very, very important. When people follow the recommendations, as Lisa has already testified, the constipation issue will go away. All right. There you go. Okay. Okay, so how does fiber work? Fiber stimulates the release of intestinal hormones to promote a feeling of satisfaction earlier in a meal. Okay, so this is how you can feel full faster, especially like as Ariel said, if you're chewing your food well, it's even going to help more. Fiber also helps you eat less and helps your body break down fat instead of storing it. Ah, good news. Another helpful hint for us to control weight. All right, so what is fiber? Fiber is actually undigestible carbohydrate. If you look at flaxseed, you'll see there's about 7 grams of carbohydrate in flaxseed. And then if you look down under the category of total carbohydrates, you'll see fiber and sugar on a food label. If you look there, it says 7 grams of fiber. Okay, this is per tablespoon. So for every gram of fiber, you bind a gram of carbohydrate. You don't even absorb it at all. You're not getting any carbohydrate at all from that flax, but you're getting a humongous benefit of the fiber. Okay, very interesting. So that you don't have to even count the carbohydrate in there if you're concerned. If you were to count, if you would say you were type 1, and you actually counted the carbohydrate in there and gave yourself an insulin shot accordingly, you would end up actually going low. So I know we don't have any type 1s here right now, but if we were, we'd be covering that in much more detail. All right. So undigested carbohydrate passes through the digestive system without causing a rise in blood sugar. Okay, it's going to bind a gram of carbohydrate along with it, so you're going to have better blood sugar control. Fiber fills our stomach and stimulates receptors to tell our brain we've had a sufficiency, we can stop eating, and fiber loves water. So how much water do we need to drink a day?
4 liters.
2 liters.
2.7 liters.
Okay, so for women, 2.7 liters, or for men, 3.7 liters, or if you want to count it in cups, somewhere between 6 and 10. Okay?
I just drink 6 of these or more.
Perfect.
Yay.
That's plenty.
I don't want to count that stuff. I just carry these.
Well, and that's what you do. And if you do have trouble getting in all the water that you need, you can carry a bottle like this. Okay, so your goal is to get 4 of these in a day. You can put 4 rubber bands around, and every time you finish a bottle, you take 1 off. Mm-hmm. And if by the time you go to bed all 4 are gone, then you met your goal for the day. Mm-hmm.
I don't have that problem.
It doesn't sound like any of you have that problem. That's good. All right. Fiber loves water. We're going to understand that better in just a minute. So there are 2 types of fiber. You have soluble fiber and insoluble fiber. What we're going to focus on mostly is soluble fiber. Your insoluble fiber is like your Metamucil, okay, and what you find in breads and grains and things like this. Soluble fiber absorbs water. It forms a gel inside the gut and slows absorption of sugars into your bloodstream. This then results in lower blood sugar levels and lower insulin levels, which results in lower insulin resistance and less fat stored. Does that sound good?
That's the Metamucil?
No.
No, that's the, okay, go over
That's
that
everything.
again.
So insoluble fiber is like the Metamucil.
Okay.
We are going to focus mostly on soluble because that's where what we're trying to deal with, that's where the benefits are in the soluble fibers, okay? And so this is going to be in your fruits and in your vegetables, mainly your beans as well, okay? Beans have both. Actually, they all have both, but they're not, the soluble is in a higher quantity in your fruits and vegetables and beans. Okay?
I love bean soup. The blender makes it real easy.
Oh, okay, good. Good. All right. So let's talk about water, the power of water. The foods listed here, fruits, vegetables, cooked beans, and other legumes, as well as whole grains that are cooked with water, not your flours and things where you're baking it. These all contain at least 60% water. Okay? Water, remember, contains how many calories?
0.
Oh, 0.
0.
All right. Fiber contains 0 calories as well. It's not absorbed. All right. So these are the types of foods then that are going to help us control the blood pressure and the diabetes and the weight. So question, we've already looked at two different types. Is all fiber created equal?
No.
It's not, okay? So what we're looking for is the high fiber, high water content foods. Again, fruits, vegetables, cooked beans, are what's going to be nice and high in those. So we're going to look at some foods, and you're going to tell me, are they high water, high fiber content, or not? And I think you'll get the picture as we go along, all right? So here we have cooked brown rice, okay, versus piece of bread. Which one is a high water, high fiber?
Rice.
Yeah.
Right, because we cook it water so it absorbs all that water, right? Where the bread, we added water when we were making that bread, but what happened to it?
You baked it out.
Baked it out.
Baked it out. Correct. All right. So here we have organic corn tortillas. I say organic because all your corn needs to be organic because of the GMO that it has. So make sure that any corn product that you eat is organic. All right, so here we have organic corn tortillas and then broccoli. Which one is going to be high water, high fiber content?
Broccoli.
Yeah.
Correct. Broccoli.
You state that corn doesn't,
Needs to be organic because of the GMO, yes.
The GMOs in rice, for instance, cross the barrier, and there isn't such a thing as no GMO rice.
Okay.
Because they raise it, but just like I experienced a long time ago, on an island out in the middle of Lake, Michigan, they raised pure grain. Mm-hmm. They could do it there because it was far enough away that the bees and everything did not carry the pollen across to make it. But otherwise, rice, for instance, there isn't such a thing as no GMO rice.
I'll look into that. I wasn't aware of that necessarily being the case. I know there's arsenic in our rice, and Lundberg rice.
Arsenic?
Yes.
The poison?
Yes.
Why is that in rice?
I don't know.
Let me tell you a little bit about arsenic in Washington State.
Okay. Real brief, because we have to make it through.
They used arsenic sprays for years, and I used it to get rid of some pesky pheasants. The pheasants got fat on it. They were used to it, and I found out that the humans were too, because I drank some arsenic one time and had no effect on it. You can become somewhat immune to it. Take a big quantity to do, yes.
That's scary.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know it. I was a kid at the time, but it was spray instead of water.
So what I understand, just to finish my thought on the rice, is Lundberg rice. Lundberg, is that how you say it? Yeah.
Lundberg?
Yeah, Lundberg rice is one of the better sources for rice. Mm-hmm. Now I will look into and see how much GMO is in our rice. I'll check that out. And they're supposed to be labeling. They were supposed to start labeling this month. And I'm not sure what the update is on that, but I haven't actually seen any labeling. And it's going to be on one of those codes where you actually put your phone over it, and then it will tell you whether it has GMO or not. But I haven't seen any of that, so I don't know if there was a specific date in October, but it was supposed to start. I have to go back and read the literature on it. But
why don't they just put it on the label?
Because they think we might stop buying stuff if it's labeled straight out. Okay, so we better move on. The power, sorry, I'm just reading the slide here, but here we have beans. All right, and granola.
Beans in the water.
It's almost a toss-up. Almost.
Okay,
Quite.
so I put this in here on purpose because people really think of granola as being, wow, just a fabulous food, right?
Not necessarily.
you really need to kind of think of your granola as a dessert. I actually have an article, on, not one that I wrote. I printed it off from someone else who wrote it. Now, I make great granola, but let me tell you, it is one of the highest density cereals that we make. So if you're trying to lose weight, or if you're trying to control carbohydrates, let me assure you, granola is not your friend. It's something that would be great if you're trying to gain weight, or if you're expending a lot of energy, like doing marathons, or well above and beyond our mile to 3 miles a day. Okay.
Wow.
So granola is not going to be your best friend. And even though you add the milk to it, possibly, or you might eat it dry as well, it's not going to be much better to cook the oatmeal. In fact, you can do the experiment. You can just look at, you don't add a lot of water to granola and then you bake it, so whatever you did add bakes out. And so it's going to be the same as what's on the package. So you can look at a oatmeal label, and it'll tell you how many carbohydrates are in that. Now, when you cook it into actual oatmeal, that fourth of a cup that you might have added now is going to become, almost a cup, right? Because you're adding the water to it, 3/4 of a cup maybe. All right? That granola, it doesn't happen like that. It stays in the concentrated form. So, anyway, yes.
I've actually learned to like raw oats with like apple juice on it or something. Is that
it's going to be the exact same thing
as the granola?
You need to cook it with the water added because you're that's what's going to help. You're going to feel much fuller with a smaller amount of that than you would just your muesli, which is what you're talking about, the raw oats with the fruit and the juices and things like this. And you add the juice and you're getting a double whammy of calories. Calories and glycemic effect.
I might be a little different, but I've taken raw oatmeal granola and cook it.
Yes. And then suddenly it would be fine.
Maybe that's why I'm gaining weight, though. No, I haven't eaten much. A little of that, but not much.
If you cooked it enough to it was oatmeal, then it would be fine.
So you could take granola, cook it, and it would be okay?
As long as it doesn't have a whole bunch of sugar on it. Is it your own or is it commercial? And then you have to consider the amount of...
Yes. But anyway.
Yes, you can make it yourself, and then you would be in control of how much sugar is added. But there's a lot of sugar added to commercial granolas.
Wow. Yeah. Didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. And sweeten them up.
Sorry to blow your funness with breakfast, but it's not going to be your best friend, and you want to know the truth because then you're free to make a choice. Right? All right, so here's another one. How about this nice sweet potato or a high fiber bar?
Sweet potato any day of the week. Those are good.
All right. All right. But you will see a lot of people eating the high fiber bars thinking they're doing all the good, right?
Read the ingredients.
Yeah. This one is cinnamon raisin bar. It was the healthiest one I could find.
Well,
yes, and the highest in fiber, but a lot of them I'll have like 6 grams of fiber or something, and then they're like cinnamon roll or cheesecake or,
And it's got 12 grams of fiber, so what does a sweet potato have, I wonder?
For a 3-ounce sweet potato, obviously that's going to be much more than 3 ounces. It's probably more like 6. You're going to have about 4 grams of fiber.
Interesting. Okay.
All right. So, again, neither water nor fiber have any calories. So the more water and fiber foods contain, the fewer calories they have. Okay? If you kickstart your meals with high fiber, high water content foods, they will fill you up and you will have less room for the higher calorie foods. Does that make sense? So eat high fiber, high water content foods Can you read it?
First.
First. That's right. All right. Now we're going to pause our regular program here for a commercial. All right. This is a very neat book. It's put out by Full Plate Living. It's a pocket-sized book. I have one right here. You can see it. All right. We highly recommend that you purchase a copy of this book. It is $14.25. You can look online. That's the price. You know, it's a lot of money for a little book, but it's valuable. You can carry it around. You can put it in your purse or your shirt pocket. And it will tell you, I don't know if you'll be able to see that online, but the foods that are in blue are your high water, high fiber content foods. Okay? Are you okay?
Oh, I'm fine.
Okay. The ones that are in white are just, they might be high fiber, but they don't have the high water, high fiber content that they're looking for. Okay? So this makes it very easy. It takes the guesswork out of figuring out, well, is this a good food to have or not so good food to have? Interestingly enough, what about avocados?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're very high water. They're very high fiber. They are still high fat. But unlike the nuts and seeds that don't have the water, avocados have that nice filling effect because of the water content and fiber content, but they're still nice, healthy fat.
And they're just good.
And they're just
Yeah.
plain good.
Just good.
That's right. That's right. So if you would like this book, it is $4.25. You can purchase it today, or we can ship it to you today. Of course, there would be a little added for shipping.
14.
14? What did I just say?
14.
Oh, I'm sorry. $14.25 is the total for the little book.
Wow, that's
And
So where does watermelon come in that book? Is that a good category?
it's going to be a high water, high fiber food for sure.
Okay.
There's not much else there, but unfortunately it tends to be very high glycemic. So if you're battling with any sugar dysregulation, whether it be diabetes, prediabetes, or hyperglycemia, then it's not going to be the best choice, even though it's humongous in water content and fiber as well. But yeah, high glycemic, unfortunately. So get the blood sugar under control first, and then we can start enjoying some of these higher glycemic foods. All right? Now we'll continue with our regular program. All right.
maybe. Would any of you like to look at it?
Oh, I think I have that.
Yeah.
Yes, I have that one.
Mom has that one.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we want to learn how to eat for health, how to kickstart our regular meals. One of your email assignments that you didn't get was to write down one of your typical meals that you would eat. All right, so now I'm going to give you several examples of how to kickstart our traditional meals, and then we're going to work through yours. So as we're talking, you might want to just jot down a typical meal that is like your favorite meal that you just can't wait to delve into. And then we're going to see if we need to give it a little kickstart and how we're going to go about doing that, okay? So we're just going to start with a little fun here. This is a typical baked potato. It has the butter and the sour cream and topped with a few chives, all right? This particular food, potato, the medium-sized potato with the skin, if you ate the skin along with the potato, has 4 grams of fiber. All right? Now, if we want to give that potato a nice little kickstart, then how about adding some chili beans? 1 cup of chili beans. Maybe you could even add a tablespoon of salsa to it. If you did just the beans, that would give you 16 grams of fiber, 12 in the beans and 4 in the potato. Add a salsa, a tablespoon of salsa, and you would add another fiber gram.
How much beans is there?
1 cup. 1
That's
cup.
a lot of food.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to be full after that.
There you go. All right. So what about cream of tomato soup? That's very nice on a cold, wintry, blistery day, right? Oh, have a nice bowl of tomato soup. One of my favorites. 2 grams of fiber. So what can we do to kickstart that? Well, we could add a half a cup of barley to it. That would give us 3 more grams. And we could add a half a cup of frozen vegetables. I had a lady come in who loves soups. Basically, she ate soup for either lunch or breakfast, lunch or dinner every single day. But she was her lifestyle was very fast, and she had high blood pressure. So we needed to reduce the sodium content, and we needed to still make it easy and increase the fiber content. So we actually did this, like to her tomato soup. We added beans as well in other soups. But with just adding the barley and the vegetables, you have 9 grams of fiber added. Now, if you added a half a cup of beans to that, then you would be up to 15 grams. Okay.
I whiz up the beans and then add some tomato soup to it.
There you go. That sounds good.
That's the way I do it.
Excuse me. Okay. All right. What about oatmeal? Oatmeal itself, cooked with water, 4 grams of fiber. And then if we were to kickstart it with adding 1 cup of berries, remember we already talked about the benefits of berries, and then a 1/4 cup of walnuts. Now, walnuts, again, are not the high fiber, high water content food, but they are going to add some fiber as well, and a nice balance to that oatmeal, where if you just have oatmeal and berries, you might have more of a glycemic effect than you want. The nuts, the fats in the nuts are going to help slow it down, so that's why I've added the nuts. So with that, then you have 12 grams of fiber. All right, you have a question?
How about raisins?
Raisins? Okay, let's talk about raisins. How much water are in raisins?
Well, they're dried up.
They're dried up. So dry and water, do they go together?
No.
They don't, right? So the water has been removed.
But I reconstitute the raisins.
Okay, so that would be fine. And also, if you don't have diabetes, it's not going to be or high glucose levels. Remember, if you have prediabetes, you do have some dysregulation of glucose. So if your glucose was greater than 100, even the raisins reconstituted, unless you can get them as plump as grape, is not going to be probably your best choice. But if you don't have that situation, your blood sugar levels are normal, then the raisins would be fine.
So you could just use red grapes, couldn't you?
You could.
And just chop them up and stick them on there.
Correct.
Okay. Just like berries.
Just like berries. The berries have a higher amount of fiber.
Why?
The seeds.
And each seed has a cell around it on those raspberries. I mean,
yes.
Wow.
Yes.
They're really high.
And every seed has what are called progoitrins, which actually help your thyroid as well.
Really?
Oh. Yes.
Now, in your example, you've cooked the oatmeal, and then it looks like it's baked again.
It was all baked together.
So is it okay to take already constituted oatmeal and then bake it?
Yes.
Gets the water out again?
Yes, but in this particular, well, it's not going to get as much. It's still going to stay nice and fluffy, even when you bake it.
Okay.
You're just baking it to kind of get the flavors combined there, and maybe keep it warm, as would be my case, until we're actually ready to eat.
Would it be okay? I just throw a small handful of walnuts in with my rice.
Good. Sure. Good. Yeah, that'd be great. Mm-hmm. So if you're adding a lot of walnuts, more than a 1/4 cup a day, that could easily
increase my weight.
Correct.
Yeah.
A 1/4 cup is what we need, or 1 ounce.
I doubt if I use that much.
Okay. All right. All right. Oh, anyone know what this is? It's a plate. So we're going to help you understand the best way for weight loss. And this is going to tie into just what we were talking about with the nuts. All right. So if you have a plate and you divide the plate in half, so you just make a line down the center of the plate. Mm-hmm. All right. So it's a 50-50 plate now. All right. Mm-hmm. Then you add another line across the plate. So now you have 4 quadrants, hopefully fairly equal. Mm-hmm. I'm not the best artist in the world. So if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to control diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, even needing more energy, all right, what you want to do is fill your plate with 75% with foods that are high fiber, high water content. Okay, 75%. So 3 quadrants need to be high water, high fiber. Then you have a quarter left. Your nuts would fall into that quarter. Okay, if you were to have meat, if you were to have bread, if you were to have anything that doesn't qualify for the others with the other 75, then it would go into that category. Okay, what about baked beans? Are they high fiber, high water? They're not.
They're not. Mm-mm.
They're not.
People put sugar in baked beans.
Yes, because of everything that's added, and then it's concentrated because it's baked down.
Yeah, baked down.
So baked beans would actually go into this category. Okay. That would be the one exception. Maybe not the one, but that would be one of the exceptions for beans.
So if you wanted, if like what I had last night, I had a salad. But I put my walnuts on my salad.
Yeah, very good.
And then I had spinach, and then I had an apple.
Okay.
Is it okay?
Yeah. Your walnuts here. Everything else you listed was here. Yeah. Your eggs, your cheese, your meat,
everything.
Your tofu. What about tofu?
I haven't got that yet.
High water content. It's high water content. What's the fiber?
None.
Exactly. Okay. There isn't any fiber in it. It would go in this category as well. Okay. All right.
I would like a good recipe for chili for tofu.
For chili?
For chili.
Ooh,
can it be done?
Yes. We just made some in the Abundant Health Now.
Okay.
Last Sunday.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I want that recipe.
I can share it. You don't have to wait.
Okay.
You just have to remind me. Send me an email.
Okay.
By the time this class is done, I'm sure I will have forgotten. So send me an email. I'll know your email works that way.
Okay.
All right. Moving on. Now we're going to look at powering up traditional meals. Okay. That would be pretty traditional. Where's that going to fit on the plate? What is it, first of all? Pizza. Pizza. Okay.
With cheese.
Most likely that crust is not whole grain.
No.
Okay. Even if it was, it's dry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you just have cheese pizza here. All right. Now, a lot of people, Americans, they like pizza. Okay. And they like it loaded with cheese.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then we add to the pizza breadsticks. If we go to Pizza Hut, now we're going to have breadsticks and have marinara sauce. How much fiber do you think is in this meal?
Nothing.
Not much.
There's actually some there. You have your tomato sauce, and there is still some in the bread. So it's actually with 3 pieces of pizza, 2 breadsticks, and some marinara sauce. You have 8 grams of fiber. But look at the calories. How many calories?
Wow.
A whole day.
1,260.
Wow.
All right. So we're going to kickstart it a little bit. Let's take it down to 2 pieces of pizza, 1 breadstick, and let's add what?
Lots and lots of salad. That's what I like.
Okay. And so now and it's going to be a fat-free dressing.
Fat-free dressing.
Okay. So what's the fiber content?
Yeah, that's a lot better.
10. All right. And then how many calories do we
Down
have?
on the calories.
Yeah. Woo. That's good.
So we're down to 900 calories.
What if
All
we
right.
just 2 pieces of a salad and leave off the breadstick?
Okay. Well, I didn't go that route. Let's see what else we can do. All right, so we keep one piece of pizza. What else? What changes do you see?
Lots more fiber.
Okay,
fruit.
what kind of food? Okay, fruit.
And water.
Fruit and soup with vegetables and whatever else.
Okay. All right, and barley, right? All right.
Yeah. And the salad.
Yeah, and we kept the salad. All right. Now we're up to 14 grams of fiber and 590 calories.
That's great.
Now that's doable, right?
Yeah.
You do that, yeah.
Okay.
So
Now
you can still go out with your friends, and they can eat the pizza, and you can have a much better meal. Still, the buffet, it's still the buffet, but they can eat the pizza, and you can eat the better things.
There you go.
Okay,
There you
all
go.
right.
All right. So now let's look at the difference between meals 1 and 3. Okay. Number 3 slices of cheese pizza, 2 breadsticks with marinara sauce, 8 grams of fiber, or 1,260 calories. Meal 3, only 1 slice of cheese pizza, and then throw in a tossed salad, fat-free dressing, vegetable soup, fruit salad, 14 grams of fiber, and 590 calories. Math whizzes. What's the point difference between those?
Let's cut in half the calories.
Okay, a little more than half.
Uh-huh.
4 more grams of fiber.
4 more?
8.
It's more than
Oh,
that.
7.
Yeah, something like 7.
6 more grams
Six
of
grams.
fiber.
We're not
Okay.
mathematicians.
And 670 fewer calories.
Mhm.
All right, I have it written for me. All right, so to improve our health, we want to work up to 40 grams or so of fiber a day. Don't worry if it's more or less. We're actually not even going to count. We're going to focus on adding foods that are high fiber, high water content. As long as you learn those, you can fill your plate with 75% of those. You're naturally going to get all the fiber content that you need. Okay? But if you're filling your plate with 75%, then with Kickstart Foods is basically what we're looking at, what you just ate for the last 10 days, then it should help you. The bottom line is, are you losing weight if that's your goal? Are your blood sugar levels normal if that's your goal? Or blood pressure, are they coming down? Are you meeting your goals, basically? That's the bottom line. If you're not, then eat more of the Kickstart Foods. Okay? Make sense?
And don't drink any water with your meals.
It's better to drink your water in between meals. Definitely, so that you're not diluting the digestive juices. However, knowing that your food is going to stay in your stomach for 4 hours, don't wait 4 hours and try to drink all your water beforehand. You're going to have to drink some, while digestion is happening. But maybe an hour after, if you can make it a whole hour. Yeah, an hour after you eat.
If you're like me and have a high ileal hernia, you better have some water with your meal or you'll get into real trouble.
Okay. All right.
It'll make you sick.
Right. So, we give the general information and then we personalize in the private consultations. Right. Yes. Mm-hmm. All right. Let's try another one. Anyone like hamburgers?
No. I hate them.
Okay.
Really?
Mind over
Good for you. Good for you. All right. And this is very much tailored to the typical American, I have to say. So
I haven't eaten one in 30 years.
Okay.
40
All right.
years.
Well, let's talk about it anyway. Okay. Something in here is going to help trigger, I'm sure. All right. So what about potato chips? We typically have potato chips or fries with a burger, right?
In a pickle.
Yeah, you got to get a pickle in there too. I don't have that on here. And then we have our cookies, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is typical American affair. Wouldn't you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's not going to do any favors for our health or for our weight. All right, so in this meal, we have about 4 grams of fiber and 1,365 calories. And we wonder why a third of our nation is obese.
I don't know how I missed out on that because when I was 10, 11, 12, I was a paper boy and I'd feed myself frequently. 25-cent hamburgers. They were a little different
So
than those.
let's talk about that. You're a paper boy. You're probably on foot.
Oh, yeah, all the time. Or on a bicycle.
Do we need to say much else? Not that you can exercise because we've already addressed that. And if we haven't addressed it, I'm going to be addressing it. You cannot exercise and then eat terrible. But I can tell you that if you are active and you're going, walking from house to house, delivering papers or riding your bike or whatever the case may be, and it's kind of an all-day event, you're definitely more likely to be able to deal with the extra cholesterol and extra fat that might be in these things. But 25-cent hamburger, one, they were probably much smaller. No, you don't think they were these big, gigantic
not
things?
Back in 1940, 41, 42.
Okay.
They were big, full-sized hamburgers, but they were better quality, way better than anything you can get today.
Okay. No, our meat was probably much better.
Yeah,
all right,
so
let's
veggies in them were better.
Let's kickstart that meal. So what changes do you see?
It's like whole wheat.
Ah, exactly.
Whole wheat and
Okay.
looks like a smaller hamburger.
No cheese in it.
Smaller. That's very good. I didn't actually expect anyone to get it. I expected to tell you that it was a quarter pounder versus a half pound in the other one. Yes. And the other one had cheese, and this one doesn't have cheese. Very observant. Okay, what else?
Big, thick tomato on there.
Okay.
Yeah. And coleslaw.
Coleslaw,
Some
beans, and some beans. And I know that looks way more than a half a cup, but we're going to count it as a half a cup of beans. Okay. And what else? What's different with the cookies?
Half the cookies.
Only 2.
Okay.
Yeah,
only 2 versus 4.
Okay.
All right. All right. So with those changes, now we have upped the fiber content to 13 grams of fiber. And we've lowered the calories to 940. All right. You want to do better than 940?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see what else we can do. Now what changes do you see?
Oh, what is that? Are those apples or potatoes? What are those?
Okay. So these are
Carrots.
not grilled. What do you call it? Roasted. Roasted veggies.
Roasted veggies.
Yes.
Which I love roasted veggies. Those
Yeah,
are great.
me too.
Okay.
Is it chicken on the hamburger?
Okay. Good observation that it's different. This is actually a vegetarian burger.
Vegetarian
Yes.
burger.
It's
Okay.
actually a quinoa burger. But anyway,
How about the ones
so
that?
you can get them in the grocery store.
How about the ones that? What is it? Subway has the veggie.
Yeah.
Are they good?
They're good.
Yeah, but I mean-
Are you talking about taste or are you talking about health?
Health.
You know, interesting enough, if you get a foot-long Subway, you know, sandwiches are not the best thing in the
No,
world
they
for
sure
us.
Mhm, yeah.
You get a foot-long with mayonnaise and then all veggies. And I don't think this is even calculated with cheese. It's a 900-calorie sandwich, a
Wow.
foot long.
The foot long.
And that's that's with the veggie patties. And that's 2 veggie patties in there. So if you're going to do the veggie patty, do yourself a favor. Get the half.
That's what I always get. I
You
never
don't
get
get the full foot. Okay, so then you're looking at 450 calories.
Wow.
Okay.
That's a lot. It's probably got those GMO things on there too.
So this is a smaller patty.
Okay.
All right.
Made from a grain.
All right. We kept our beans, and we did away with our cookies, and what did we add in its place?
Pear.
All right. And the dressing on the coleslaw is going to add some calories as well. So these are just roasted veggies. All right. And so then our total now is 20 grams of fiber because it's a vegetarian burger. That's the difference, I'm telling you. A lot of the difference, of course, you don't have. Pear has 4 grams of fiber in it, compared to the 0 in the cookies, or 1. And then you have 495 calories. We can deal with that,
That's
right?
good.
We
Yeah.
can deal with that.
And that's a good amount of food. And it's not all salad.
That's right. That's right.
Actually, I love salad.
So when we talk about Subway and these other places, just to put a plug in towards the later on in our program, towards the end, we're actually going to be looking at restaurant menus and being able to pick from restaurant menus. And one of the restaurants menus that are bringing out is Subway. So that's why I happen to know that information.
That's good.
But you're welcome to bring your own favorite restaurant menu, and we can use that.
Well, one I like here is that Grandma's cornbread and beans.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that.
Okay. So if you'd like to bring a menu from there, that'd be great.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. I'll give you warning. I'll let you know when we're going to do that. Okay? All right, so now let's look at the difference between Burger Meal 1 and Burger Meal 3. All right, we had a half-pound burger with cheese on a white bun, potato chips, and 4 cookies, totaling 4 grams of fiber and 1,365 calories. Then, meal number 3, we gave it a kickstart, and we changed the hamburger to a veggie burger on a whole wheat bun, roasted vegetables, beans, and pears, and a pear, for 20 grams of fiber and 495 calories. All right?
Amazing.
That's a
Which
lot of
one
food
fits
for
the
five.
75%?
Number 2. Or 3, I guess.
Yeah. And then which one actually had more eye appeal, was more colorful, was more attractive?
Well, both vegetables.
Right.
Number 3.
Yeah.
Okay. God made our healthy food to be attractive.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So remember that as you're making your meals. Make them pretty.
Make
Make
it pretty.
good eye appeal. We actually you said, what about our nose? Yes, smelling our food. We eat with our eyes too. We will relish a meal much better if it actually has some beauty included into it.
Okay.
Eat the rainbow.
Eat the rainbow. I'm going to be sending you an email on the rainbow. Talking about food, just to clarify. All right, so this is a classic example of what happens to calories when we fill our plate with Kickstart foods. As the fiber and water content increases, what happens to the calories? They go down. What happens to the health benefit? It goes up. Okay. We increase the health power and decrease the calories. Okay. We increase the healing power. All right. So with this type of meal, you get what you're trying to accomplish: improve your health, gain the energy, have more zest for life without being encumbered with disease or dis-ease. That's what disease is being in a state of dis-ease. All right? So Kickstart Foods will help you be successful in your journey to start a new you. All right. So what surprised you most about kickstarting these meals?
You get a lot of food, and you get fewer calories, and it's fun, and they're pretty to look at.
Yeah, that was all good. Wow. When I think about losing weight, I think about, salad and just vegetables, and you had a lot of things that were still substantial on your palate and in your stomach, beans and roasted vegetables and things that are nice tasting, that are not working on your psychology, that you're depriving yourself of those things that you used to like.
We don't want any deprivation. We don't want those feelings like, oh, I'm on a diet. Do diets work?
No.
That was one of the emails I sent you.
No.
Still go over those emails. I know now you have 7 all at once, or you will have 7 all at once, but still go through those emails because there's still a lot of information. A lot of the information I understand is old information because it was talking about our cleanse and helping you get through the cleanse. So that's not pertinent anymore, and I'm so sorry that happened. But go back through There's a lot of other information there. So when you do get to receive them, don't just discard them because they're old. Go back through because there's going to be some good information there for you.
You know what I like about this whole program? I'm just kind of putting this in there. Is that like I told you when I first came, I've gone through all these diet plans. I've done all the prepackaged foods. I've gone through the Weight Watchers. And don't get me wrong, I did lose weight on Weight Watchers. But they didn't tell you about things like cottage cheese and what it does to you. They didn't tell you about what a lot of meat does to you and canned tuna fish. And they don't tell you those things. They just want you to eat certain amounts. That's what they want you to eat. But it's not necessarily that it's good for you.
But it's great for their pockets because they keep you for the long haul.
and go to the grocery store and get Weight Watchers.
I'm actually trying to help you and, let you move on with life. And, they do have their place, and it might get you a good little start. But it's really understanding. It's having knowledge that's going to help you be able to make the intelligent decisions and not just have to buy their particular items that they're wanting to sell. And diets, as soon as we start using the word outside of what we eat, because we'll talk about a diet. In our diet, we do this. But if we talk about going on a diet, immediately we conjure up the concept that I'm starting a diet, and if I'm starting, then there's an end point. And as soon as we end, what happens?
You go back to doing what you were doing before.
Right?
Exactly. Exactly. And then it comes right back. But it's worse because if you haven't done the whole program where you're addressing all the laws of health like water, as we've discussed today, then you're decreasing your metabolism level. And that's only hurting the whole process. So if you actually lose weight at a slow rate, if you allow your body to adjust to what you're actually doing, we're not asking you to completely give up pizza right now. We're not completely saying you can't ever have a hamburger. We're trying to make it so that you can take the one step that is right for you to become healthier. And then as you do that, it can be a sustainable change instead of something that you're just going to do for a fixed amount of time and then forget. The only time we tell you what to do in this program and Abundant Health Now program, the only time we tell you what to eat is during the Kickstart to a New You cleanse. That's it. And we're already past that. But now you get to choose and make the intelligent decisions. We better move on. Let's ask this last question for discussion, and then we're going to do some exercise. We'll discuss a little bit about exercise and then do it some more. All right? So our, okay. I couldn't read correctly. Okay, the meals that we've just put up, are they a meal that you would actually eat?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Some of them, maybe.
Some.
I understand if you don't like hamburgers and you don't like pizza.
Yeah,
I love
that
pizza,
either.
but I don't eat it.
Can I ask a quick question? Is it a bad thing? Like, I don't have a problem not eating bread and not eating pastas.
Okay.
That doesn't bother me at all. Okay. Can I not do that? I mean, can I just leave that out of my diet completely, or is that bad for you?
You can leave bread out of your diet. Bread is not a necessity for life. I don't recommend taking all grains out. So if you're going to take grains out, like a lot of people are now wanting to go gluten-free and things like this, we need to make sure that there's some sort of grain in there that is gluten-free, that's still going to provide you with a high content of B vitamins. Grains are very powerful for our brains. We need to make sure that we get the B vitamins in that are going to help regulate our mood, keep us happy.
Okay.
We don't want to completely eliminate all grain from our diet.
Okay, I'll have to work on that. Okay.
All right. But there's plenty of alternatives to wheat. You have millet is a great grain. You have quinoa. That's another one that's really fabulous. And then if you're not gluten intolerant, you can still do the oats and the rye and the barley and things like this. Yeah.
I was wanting to ask about rice. Is some rice wheat filled?
No. Well, only if you buy the prepackaged containers and they have pasta included in with the rice, then yes. But the actual rice, is it contaminated with wheat? Traditionally, no, it's not. Okay. So on the package, you could read, it might be prepared in a facility that processes wheat. Well, then, yes, it could be contaminated. And that's actually how oats are contaminated. Oats don't actually have gluten in them in and of themselves, but the same plants that process the wheat process the oats, and so that's why they have to be labeled as gluten-containing.
Okay. I didn't know that either.
All right, so can you exercise? We already addressed this, but we'll just go over it quickly. Can I exercise to eat the meal number one? While exercising is extremely important, you cannot exercise to eat or lose weight by exercise alone. Okay, and we'll actually be going over this throughout our program, helping you understand that concept. Exercise, very important. One of the best things we can do for mood regulation, to be happy, to energize our bodies, even when we're tired. If we'll get up and do a sprint or go for a walk or do some sort of physical manual labor, it actually will give us energy instead of depleting energy from us. Exercise is very powerful. It's one of our healing elements, habits of health that we need to include in our lives. If you want to reverse disease, then you need to exercise and also fill your plate with at least 75% of the Kickstart foods. And you need to start working out. And we're doing this in our targets, okay, each week. Are you guys looking at that? What's the target for exercise for next week?
An hour, isn't it?
40 minutes. 40 minutes. 40 minutes a day.
This week.
Okay, so we're building up to what you just said, which was 60 minutes a day. That's what's going to be, that's what's going to be the best for our health. Okay? All right. Let's get an exercise report before we do our coconut stretch.
83.5 miles.
83.5 miles
Woo-hoo.
total.
Yay.
All right. So we can, we'll add that to our chart. Okay. All right. Let's do another coconut stretch. Help us all wake up. Right? That was a long time for sitting. Okay, you ready? C, O, C, O, N, U, T. Rolling forward. Rolling back. And squat down. Five, 6, 7, one more. 8. Good job. Good job. All right. All right, sure. Go ahead. We'll take a little break here. Drink your water.
It's so fascinating learning about this stuff.
Yeah.
I have been taught so many things that are just wrong. They're just wrong.
It's very interesting.
All those processed places wanting to get your money more than make you healthy.
Yeah.
Yes, I think you're right.
And people who over-exercise, because it's like my sister who is anorexic bulimic, okay? So she goes out and puts huge amounts of food in her body, okay? Mm-hmm. And if she does purge or whatever, then the rest of it she thinks she can exercise off and does extreme exercises all the time. But that's not really good either. It's not. I mean, it just catches up with you eventually. Right. And so in her mind,
it's devastating to the body, actually.
So and it's a horrible, repetitious thing.
Right. And
I've been taught, so like I said, so many bad things that are just wrong. about how to take care of your body. I think that's fascinating.
It is. I enjoy the study of obviously I went into got a degree in it. It's fascinating enough for me. Okay, so we're going to move on to it being your turn now. We're going to take the next 15 minutes, and you're going to look at one meal that you just love, that you would like to include as part of your regular diet. And we're going to see what we can do to kickstart that meal to be something that will allow you to eat it and still lose the weight and gain the health benefits that you're looking for. Okay? So if you'll get into your groups, I'm going to have you and Paul work together.
Okay.
I'm going to work with Ariel, and Laura's going to work with those online. Okay? So we're going to pause we're recording these, and so we're going to pause the record, and if you're going to be listening to this after the live program, then you'll just need to pause it when you get to this point and do the assignment on your own at that time. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and pause the recording. Laura will work with online. I'm working with Ariel, and you and Paul are working together. Okay? All right. Welcome back. I'd just like to hear how each of you did. If there's someone who would like to share what their meal was and how you kick-started that meal, we'd like to hear about it. Would anyone like to share?
I'm still working.
Okay. All right.
We're doing a fantastic job.
We're not completely done yet, it looks like. All right. One of our online participants started with a meal that is an omelet, 2 to 3 pieces of bacon. Let's see, what else did she normally have? I'm going to find that. 21 grain bread and berries. So she's got a good start. Yeah. But what we talked about doing is to power it up a little bit and maybe reduce some of the things that were not so fiber-rich and high water content things, was to add some things to her omelet, like sweet peppers would add 2 grams of fiber, and tomatoes. She thought she could add to that. And I asked her if she liked avocado. That would actually add 7 grains to add grams. That would add 7 grams if she would add a half of that. And then she could reduce some of the bacon that she was having. She's going to maybe explore doing some things with oatmeal. She doesn't really like that, so that's kind of a struggle for her, is doing breakfasts that are healthy. Maybe you can speak to that. All right. Our next session is going to be all about breakfast. In fact, we're even going to be cooking breakfast. So there's lots of ideas that you can use instead of just oatmeal for breakfast. Any of you make grits? A nice southern dish. Typically, they add quite a bit of fat to it, and we're going to show you how to make it without. Yes, like polenta and grits, same thing. All right. Yeah, and it's used over in Europe quite a bit as well. So you can make that into a cereal. Those who don't like kind of the slimy texture, maybe that's not a good way to describe it, but it is the reality of oatmeal could use something like grits in its place. Barley would be another one. It's going to have a similar consistency, so it just depends what it is that you don't particularly like about the oatmeal. Baking it might cut down a little bit on that slimy texture as well. Let's see. You can actually use whole berries of the grains, like wheat berries or oat groats or rye berries. And these would all cook down very nicely. You'd want to put them in the crock pot on high the night before. And just before going to bed, you can turn it down to low. And then you would add the salt that you would want to that. And we have in the emails, I'm pretty sure you've received them, that it tells you how to cook the various grains, including the wheat berries and things like this. So maybe that might be helpful for grain-wise. Don't necessarily have to have grains for breakfast, although it does give you a nice start to the day because, like I said, it's a good brain food for us. But you could do other things other than grains. A typical meal that I have that's not very high in grain at all is fruits and nuts. In fact, if you receive that email from me, I was saying this morning I was in a rush when I was on the Kickstart Cleanse. I was in a rush. I didn't actually cook anything. I just had the nuts and fruit. And so you don't have to have grain in the morning necessarily.
What about oranges and grapefruit?
Oranges and grapefruit are a tropical fruit, and tropical fruits do tend to be a little higher glycemic. Grapefruit, not so much, but oranges are a higher glycemic fruit. And so just to kind of make things easy, we say to avoid tropical fruits and to focus more on your northern fruits like your cord and pitted fruits, apples, pears, plums, nectarines, things like this. They're going to have a better glycemic effect. Again, if you have sugar intolerant, correct, for sure they're a higher glycemic food.
Yes.
And say it again.
Yes. Those really, I think, throw your system off.
Yes, it can really kind of throw you for a loop.
That's trouble with me. I eat bananas. I got to put that down here.
Okay.
The fruit I eat after a meal oftentimes is banana.
Okay.
Especially at lunch.
Okay. So you might want to choose an apple or a pear or a plum, peach, cherries when they're in season. Oh, they're delicious. You can't afford to eat them when they're out of season. But those would be some better options than your tropical fruits. The one tropical fruit that tends to do very well with sugar regulation are mangoes, and they have a lot of other properties to them that are very good. So we do include that, mangoes. Yeah, it's a nice, very sweet fruit that it's kind of like the sweet potato. You wouldn't expect it to do super well with sugar regulation, but it does fabulous, and same with the mango.
An online participant asks if they can get the fiber manual at Barnes & Noble.
Not that I know of. You're welcome to look, and if you do find out that they do carry it, then you can, yeah, there you go. Then you can let me know, and then I can tell everyone else. Okay? So you can get it online, and that would be the price that you're going to pay. So.
I now know why I'm so overweight.
Okay.
This is a typical meal when my friends and I would go out. We'd like to go to Western Sizzling to the food buffet. This is what I used to eat. Okay. I would get the baked chicken thighs because that's good for you, baked foods, right? Okay. And sometimes they were kind of small, so if they were the big ones, it was 2, maybe 3, okay, depending on the size. And it always had the skin on. So there wasn't chicken thighs in the little book, so I just figured a chicken breast, 161 calories.
Okay.
And I get the green beans with the onions flavoring, in there. And that was 38 calories for the green beans and 1.5 calories for just a little bit of flavoring of the onions.
Okay.
Then I'd get the loaded sweet potato with butter and brown sugar, okay? But they didn't have anything in there in the little book about butter and brown sugar, so I'm not sure about those calories and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So I
Butter
put
would
in
be
there.
about 90 per tablespoon
Okay, well,
or teaspoon.
we can adjust this. It's going to be higher than what I figured because I didn't
Okay.
know about some of them. Okay, sweet potatoes with all that stuff, at least 103 calories and only 4 grams of fiber. Then I get a roll with butter. 78 calories for a roll with 1 gram of fiber. Then I get a dessert, usually something chocolate. So I picked chocolate cake, which was 537 calories and 4 grams of fiber. Tea with sugar. I didn't have a thing in there for sugar, so I get tea, which is 0 sugar. I don't know.
It's about 60 calories per teaspoon.
Okay, well, what I came up with was 917 calories and 59 grams of fiber.
Okay.
Okay, that was
You got 59
awful.
grams.
Well,
You got up there with what that doctor recommended. Dr.
Wait a minute.
McCullough.
No, wait. Oh, I figured something wrong there. It's not near that many fiber things. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you want to hear what I came up with?
Yeah.
To make it better?
Oh, yes.
If I'm still going to Western Sizzling,
Okay.
we'll go get the white fish, which is 223 calories. Okay. The green peas, which is 72 calories, and or black-eyed peas are 96 calories. Say get both of them, a spoonful of each of them, okay? And some kind of salad with, or a sweet potato. A salad, I couldn't see it in the book, so I went with a sweet potato again for 103 calories and 4 grams of fiber. And then for dessert, there wasn't anything in there I could have for dessert, so I was just thinking, well, they do have mixed fruit, which you can go in there and get. They didn't have mixed fruit in the little book. So the mixed fruit has got to be better than the chocolate cake. Okay, and then the tea with no sugar, 0. So as compared to what I was consuming, which was not everything recorded, 917 calories as compared to 494 calories.
Okay.
So it was about
Cut it in
half that. And 101 grams of fiber if I did the salad and the peas and the black-eyed peas and the sweet potato and the mixed fruit. That would be 101 fibers.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, Lordy have mercy. I couldn't figure in the mixed fruit. I didn't know what to put in there.
Okay, it'd be about 2 to 4, depending on what type of fruit it was for grams of fiber.
Okay.
And then if it was a cup of fresh fruit, then it would be about 60 calories.
Okay.
And given that it didn't have any sugar added to it.
Okay. So anyway, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Unless I figured something wrong here.
Yeah, those figures for fiber, that sounds,
Is that
it
wrong?
sounds high, yeah. Well, I don't know. I wasn't calculating it in my head as you were going along.
Well, anyway. I
So,
hope I did it right.
yeah, very exciting.
Very good.
So, yeah, you cut your calories in half. You know
Yeah.
that's going to have to do something, and you significantly increased your fiber. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, very good, very good. Anyone else like to share?
Well, I didn't figure calories out in mine. I just wrote down what I normally eat, and either oatmeal or rice in the morning or Rice Krispies. And that's all I eat, just a bowl of it.
Okay.
Period.
So, what about, can you add some fruit?
Yes, I have, since I've been on this, I've been adding bananas.
Okay.
No more bananas.
I bought some today.
Well, you know what? Finish up the ones that you bought, and then from there.
I'll give them to this lady in the nursing home.
Oh, okay. But yeah, a pear, an apple, a plum, a peach, nectarine. What were you going to say?
Or have just a half. I have just a half a banana and then some other kind of fruit with it.
Sometimes I chop them in half, but it depends. And, oatmeal, rice. I've eaten one of the 3. Once in a while, I've had some barley. Wheat, I stay away from. If I eat whole wheat bread and, say, a wheat cereal, and so I'll get a reaction.
Oh, okay.
Semi-allergic, a little bit of allergy to too much wheat. So I don't eat a lot of wheat.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind.
For lunch, baked potato, broccoli, and salad. That's it.
That could be filling.
That's good.
Maybe I'll eat a little bit of some of the analog foods. Just a few pieces. I like the chicken, or I don't care for the beef that they, but I especially like the stripples. That sort of thing.
Would it be possible to include some beans?
Oh yeah, easily.
Uh-huh. And you actually might, remember if you're eating these foods first, you might not need the analogs, as he's calling them, which are vegetarian meat, which it's gluten or soy. Yeah, they're meat substitutes.
What I do with the beans, oftentimes, I'll just make a soup out of them. I'll take a can of beans, open it, throw it in a blender, and maybe put it, like I said, a couple of 3 of these stripples in there, blend them up with the bean, and that's it.
Okay.
Maybe a salad. I'll eat a salad with that.
Yeah.
And I eat, for supper, I'll eat something like that. I'll take a can of peas and do the same thing with a can of peas.
Okay.
And that's my soup. I do like some whole grain crackers. I'll eat with soup sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. And I'll eat maybe some. One of the things I like to do with apples, I'll take the apple core and throw it in the blender with some strawberries. And
that's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
But that's the way I eat.
Okay. So what about chewing versus drinking?
Well, you get more out of it for chewing. But I don't just drink it. I'll take it very slowly and oftentimes make it so thick that you have to chew it.
What about that? I was going to ask you, they always tell you to make a smoothie with fruit and ice. Is that a good thing or not with ice?
It's much better to eat your food than to drink your food.
Okay.
Digestion starts in the mouth for one. And if you are doing the mouse work in a blender, then you're not going to get the same benefit from that food that you're going to get if you were actually chewing it.
Okay.
If it's already blended, it's going to go right to the stomach. The peristalsis that the stomach needs to do to churn up and digest the food is done. So what's it going to do? It already has the liquid. It already has the everything's there except the mixing it with the acids. And so then it's just going to pass it right on into your intestine, where it's going to be picked up and taken into the bloodstream, and boom, you have a high glycemic response. And if you have a high glycemic response, you have a high insulin output, which means it's going right to fat.
That's my trouble.
And that's why no juices. Okay.
That's my trouble there.
Okay.
Too much blending of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Need to use our teeth. Need to use our teeth and let the whole digestion process do its work. Okay? You don't need, you want to avoid anything that's going to spike that insulin from being poured out.
I always thought that was healthy, see?
Well, that's what we're taught because that's what TV tells us, and that's what all the health food. And it actually got started with a good reason. The reason was, let's try to find out ways to getting greens. That's actually where the smoothie idea came from. So we can really concentrate our nutrients because Americans aren't getting in all the fruits and vegetables they need, so we'll put them into a smoothie. Great concept, right? Except how many people make a smoothie that actually now contains greens? We leave the greens out, but we still have the bananas and the strawberries and the maybe sugar, yogurt, ice, whatever, But we're not getting what we actually need to stop obesity, high insulin loads. It's not working. So if we were to take that food that we just put in a blender, try to eat, literally chew that amount of food, we'd be full before we could finish what we had just blended up. So that's kind of the concept. I had a lady who was well over 200 pounds, and basically she drank every meal.
Oh my.
Yes, she was doing the greens and all this kind of stuff. And so I said, just try it for a week, see how you do. I want you to, instead of blending it, to put a fork and knife to it and chew up what was in that blender. Put the same amount that you were going to put in and then dump it on a plate and start eating and see how far you get. And it changed her life. I can tell you she's just a little over 100 pounds now.
Wow.
And you know what she says? I don't have one of those books.
Wow.
She used this book.
Mm-hmm.
And she went through, and it became her Bible. If it wasn't in blue, she didn't need it. Mm-hmm. She lost all that weight. She stopped blending, and she's one of my great success stories.
Wow.
Yeah, she did fabulous. So, all right. Any questions?
Well, it answers one of mine.
Okay.
I don't blend so much stuff.
So what's it going to take? You have a menu kind of started now, right? Now you need a shopping list. You need to work to go down through the list. Okay, so I'm going to have my eggs, and I'm going to add peppers and tomatoes to it, and whatever else.
Hey.
So I don't have peppers and tomatoes in my house. So write a shopping list now. Okay, so it's going to help you be able to effectively execute your plan. Okay, so the challenge for this week is the one meal that you created to actually make that meal. All right? So whatever your meal was, the one meal that you're going to kickstart, that's your challenge, is at least one meal this week you're going to have with the menu, the second part of that menu that you made up. Okay? Your powered up favorite meal. Okay? Any questions on that? Second part is make up a menu and make up a shopping list and make a plan. If you're going to succeed, you have to have a plan on how to execute what you're wanting to do. So part of what we're wanting to do is create a plan. We're eventually going to create a whole schedule. How am I going to fit exercise into my plan? If you haven't already done that, that would be a good thing to do.
It's the hardest thing for me to get done.
It is. It's a huge chunk of our day if we're trying to get in 60 minutes. And so it is difficult. And so if we don't have a plan, it simply isn't going to happen. But we can separate it out into 6 segments. If that makes it easier for you, great. 10 minutes. I can give 10 minutes here. I can give 10 minutes here. Oh, maybe I don't even have 10 minutes. Maybe I need 5 minutes. And maybe some concentrated before or after work to, gear up or wind down, whatever the case may be. So you have to have a plan for it. And what helps me is actually writing out that schedule. How do I want my day to go today? I know before I ever get to work, I need a minimum of 4 hours at my house, not including transit time. I know if I don't get up 4 hours before I have to go to work, my day's not going to be a smooth day. And I'm going to fight to try to get in that exercise or have proper meals or whatever because I haven't done my prep work. So this is what we have to find out. Let's get a plan for how I can actually successfully meet my goals. We're not trying to get you to change your schedule all at once. All right, what we're asking for is let's execute the one meal, okay? And then from there, let's make up a menu and a grocery list so that we can be prepared to actually execute more than one meal, okay? Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Does everyone accept that challenge? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Does anyone not accept that challenge? Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay. I need to know either way because then I can help you, right?
So this is for one meal.
Just one meal.
One meal is what you're
for a week.
If you want to fix it 3 or 4 times during the week, fine.
Okay.
The challenge that I'm going to ask you about next week is, did you fix the meal that you powered up? That's what I'm going to be asking next week. Okay?
Okay.
If you can do more meals, the better the results you're going to have. Okay?
So if I want to have a really nice salad at each of my meals, okay,
yes.
I'm going to go to Wally World and get a great big tub, and I'm going to mix my salad all together so I can just grab it out and put it on my plate.
Okay, let me give you 2 suggestions.
What?
Have all your veggies chopped up.
I can't
Ready
put
to
it all
go.
in there.
Ready to go. Keep them separate.
Separate? Why?
Keep them separate. Your lettuce, don't even touch it until you're ready to make it. Okay, so you can chop up everything. Your tomatoes you might want to wait to chop up too, but your peppers, cucumbers, things like this, you can chop up and put in little containers, celery, carrots, whatever. Okay? But your lettuce is going to turn brown and it's not going to be pretty if you chop it up. It won't keep for 3 days even. It might keep for 1.
Romaine does better than
It does,
head.
but it still turns.
Eventually.
Okay, so
What about
you
the
might
package?
want to just be prepared to chop your lettuce and then have your other veggies already chopped up.
Ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What about the package that you buy in Walmart? Package salad. That's what I use.
It's definitely better than nothing at all. It just has a little bit of chemical added to it to
Yeah,
keep
that's why
it fresh.
It's fresh. Uh-huh.
But it's better than
What is
none
it?
at all.
What do they add? Gas of some sort?
No, usually it's some sort of like a, you know what you use in canning? I can't think of the word right now. Calcium something or other. Or it can be ascorbic acid, that's another one, or it can be a calcium something. I'm sorry, I can't think of the word right now. But it's just it's going to keep it from turning brown. It's going to keep the oxidation.
It will turn brown after you open
Eventually.
it.
Yeah, eventually.
It keeps
But
for a
it
little while,
keeps-
but not very long.
Right, which I found out with, I bought some cabbage that was already chopped up, and it turned
Well, I don't
brown on me before I even opened the package and before the date of expiration was even. I was like, oh,
bad.
yeah, but it was in one of those packages.
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
get the stuff that isn't chopped. I get the whole leaf lettuce and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I use.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
Question from online, is there a book that would be helpful for me with meal ideas in general? Does Dana have a book or booklet that would help me with meal ideas?
Okay, so she's asked me this quite a bit. So there is a book, and I'm trying to think of a name that gives the same exact concepts that I'm giving right here, right now. If you would like to talk to everyone, I'll run to my office and get it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I'm putting Laura right on the spot. Might be more way less.
What did you think about the idea of powering up in general? Does it kind of get your mind turning for other meals or things that you can just do one or two things that will help an item get powered up?
Oh yeah, I like this lesson about the watery fruits and things like that. I never really thought about stuff like that. I was just doing, like I said, baked chicken.
Yeah.
Baked chicken's good for you.
What about eggs?
Yeah, what about eggs?
Well, they're in the dairy category,
That's
right?
what I figured.
Okay, so there's no fiber.
No
Right.
fiber.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
They're not high water content.
Uh-huh.
So if you're going to have them, you want to have them in that 25% quadrant of your plate.
Okay.
So you have the other 75% is your high fiber, high water content.
Can you still
Foods.
put them on your salad and things like that? Or can you do that? Or
Yeah, it would be on your 25%.
Just in the ratio, yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay.
You don't want 4 eggs. You want 1 egg.
Yeah,
The other morning after breakfast,
And you don't want it 7 days a week.
just a little bit.
I had taken my walk. No, I hadn't eaten breakfast. Yes, I did too. I take that. I went on my walk, and I stop at my next door neighbor frequently after I'm done walking. And she said, "Can I give you some pancakes?" I said, "Well, maybe 1 or 2." So I had 2, and they had eggs in them, of course. They were homemade pancakes. And I don't know what kind of flour she used, but it wasn't just white flour. But anyway.
Oh, that's nice. She shared with you. All right, we're going to close with this because our time is about up. This is a book. It's called Picture Perfect Weight Loss, and it gives some great ideas on powering up, the kind of the same concepts that we're using here today. And I'll just give you one example. here we have a Thanksgiving meal. I don't know if you can actually see that. Can you see it? Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was awesome. Yeah.
All right.
Good.
Well, he takes that meal, which is a pie, some nuts, a couple drinks, and then some hors d'oeuvres and veggies, turkey, and stuffing. Okay? And then and that was 3,710 calories.
Wow.
Just in case you want. And then he takes it and powers it up. You can see it?
Wow.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And the end result of that, it's 930 calories.
Wow, there's
Okay.
plenty there to eat.
Wow.
Yes, and you wouldn't eat all that at one meal. It's
No,
virtually
it's
impossible. Okay, so it just kind of gives you an idea. So it's a really neat book, and it puts a picture
Who's the author?
to it. Shapiro. 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 Dr. Shapiro? Is that how you say it?
Shapiro.
Shapiro.
Yeah.
I've heard that name now.
Shapiro. Yeah. Okay. Very nice. You can have hard numbers.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you.